Let's talk about some of the other members of your stable. Tommy Coyle, he's got a big fight coming up, I believe, against Chris Algieri. How's he looking?
It hasn't been confirmed yet, and we're still waiting for confirmation. We've agreed to the fight, and we've heard that Chris Algieri's accepted it, but we've not had any confirmation, so hopefully Eddie can shed some light on that. We've been told Tommy's on the bill. He's certainly fighting on the 1st of June at Madison Square Garden, so he's over the moon. He's on that card. He never thought in a million years he'd fight at Madison Square Garden, so it's another one ticks off his bucket list. But certainly it's a good fight. Chris Algieri's a top fighter, and it won't be any walk in the park, you know, by no stretch of the imagination. But Tommy's one of those fighters where you'll have to nail him to the canvas to beat him. So and style-wise, he should make for a great fight. You know, they should blend well. So yeah, it'll be a good fight for the fans.
Chantelle Cameron, recent addition to your camp. What have you been working on so far in terms of adapting her style or adding little elements to it?
Well, you know what, Dan, I'm a big believer in, you know this, that when you're enjoying what you're doing, you get the best out of fighters. And half of the thing was just getting a smile back in her face and getting her enjoying coming to the gym. She's doing that. We've been working on, she's always had she's been an aggressive fighter, she's always on the front foot. She had a great work rate, so they're not things what I've had to sort of add to her. We've brought in bigger sparring partners for her to work on other areas, because, you know, at some point in her career, someone's going to push her onto her heels, put her on the back foot, and she's going to have those stuff in her locker. So we've been working on a boxing ability, getting on the back foot. She's Team GB, you know. She's got a lot of experience in the amateurs, so she's obviously got a very good boxing brain, so we've been bringing that back to the forefront. It's not all about work rate and pressure, it's about using your brain and doing certain things at the right time. So yeah, she's come on loads, she really has. From the first point she came in the gym, she's not been there that long, but she's been sparring a girl who's just won the ABAs at 81 kg, who's a light heavyweight, so obviously she was the first.
Send her after Clarissa Shields then.
Exactly, yeah. So she was the first person who I seen her spar who was able to push her backwards. But that's what she needs. She needs certain situations like that where she'll learn from it, and she's fantastic talent. And you know, in the not too distant future, we should be looking at her versus Katie Taylor. It's a fantastic fight.
As well as the physical stuff, has there been a certain amount of work you've had to put in emotionally in terms of building Chantelle back up? Because without going into detail, we don't want to get either of us into trouble. She seemed almost at rock bottom when she left her previous camp. Yeah.
I wouldn't say a massive amount of work, sort of the thought process behind it going in. Just making her feel comfortable, welcome. The atmosphere in the gym's always great, so she sort of slotted in straight away. But just some fighters, regardless of whether they're a man or a woman, some of them need a bollocking, some of them need shouting at, some of them need an arm putting around them and sort of telling them it's all okay. And there's been a few moments of both sides. You know, sometimes we've given a shouting at and said, you know, give her a kick up the backside, and sometimes you put your arm round on. Certainly early on, you have to be empathetic and say, listen, I understand that the situation you've been in, but you know, not everyone's like that. There's good people in the world, and yeah, she's flourishing. She really is. She's in a good place mentally, physically, and big performance coming on Friday, I believe.
And finally, the big little man, if you like, Cole Frampton. What's the latest from him? Is he in the gym at the moment? What's he working towards?
He's in the gym in Belfast at the minute. He's not back over here. He said he's going to be back over here middle of May sort of time, and he'll be looking to box at end of July, early August. So the court case thing was hopefully going to be over and done with by then. They put it back, but he put it back to a stage where he can still get his fight in, and then he can concentrate afterwards. So it's not affecting him in the slightest. It just means that he'll have to deal with it after the fight rather than before it.
Who do you fancy next for him?
Do you know what? Seriously, anybody. We've had this discussion. We all went to Dubai for New Year, and obviously sat around the pool, sun lounges, a lot of time to contemplate. He knows the mistakes he made against Warrington, and the mistakes he made early, the decisions he made early on in that fight led him down the wrong path, and it was too far. He was already too far down it. By the time he got back onto the right path and started to use his boxing brain, he was too far behind. So he knows the mistakes he made, but in a strange sort of way, a rematch with Warrington or Valdez, that lesson what he's going to take from that fight should make him able to put that wrong them right, and he won't make those mistakes again in the future. I've got to say though, Josh Warrington made him make those mistakes and then didn't really allow him to come away from it, but maybe Carl didn't respect his power as much as he should have done, and maybe the sort of he was lulled into a false sense of security, and that's the reason why he was led down that path so far before he corrected it. Whereas
a little bit complacent.
Exactly. Whereas he wouldn't make that mistake again in a rematch. So, you know, he's signed a co-promotional deal with Top Rank now. Valdez is with Top Rank, so that's an easy fight to make. Warrington's got business to take care of first with Kid Galahad, but Valdez or a rematch with Warrington, obviously that's not going to be next because they're all going to be busy. So by no stretch of the imagination would I want a marking time fight for Carr, because the reason what we just spoke about with Jack. But a decent enough test in end of July, early August, and then Valdez on a rematch with Josh Warrington for October, November would be right on my street.
And his well, we wish you the very best of luck with that and with the rest of your stable.
Thank you, Dan. Cheers, mate. Cheers.